Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Winner's Circle podcast. My name is Gabe, and today we're going to be going over the Mexico GP. We have I have some guests here with me. I got Omar, of course, my co-host. Omar, you want to say anything?
Oh, what's up, guys? Sorry, I wasn't sure if I was going to interject or not.
I got Jason here. He's been here a couple times now. Jason, anything?
Yo.
And then I have Christian.
Yo.
Christian's a childhood friend of mine, and he's been following F1 this year, and I thought I'd have him along for the ride too. So yeah, we got Mexico GP, but before we start talking about that, I just want to let you guys know, if you're listening to YouTube, you guys can go ahead and find this podcast on Spotify, iTunes, and anywhere else where you can listen to a podcast. Just search the Winner's Circle and look for the picture of the yellow RSR. Yeah, so let's get it started. Tail of the tape right now is Max leading Lewis Hamilton by 12 points. Max has 287.5. Lewis has 275. Did I say Max has 275?
I
kind of fucked that up. So Max has 287.5. and Lewis has 275.5. So 12-point gap right there. And in the past, so Mexico has been out of the rotation for a very long time. It recently came back in 2015. When it came back, Nico Rosberg was the first winner. And then after that, 2016 went to Lewis Hamilton. 2017 went to Max Verstappen. 2018 went to Max Verstappen. And then 2019 went back to Lewis Hamilton. 2020, COVID hit, they canceled the race, and there was no Mexico GP. As far as poles go in qualifying, both have one pole position apiece. Lewis had one in 2016, and Max had one in 2019. Other than that, these guys have not finished on podium other than their wins, so it's pretty much win or bust. Max seems to be a little more consistent with his race results at this track, but that's just looking at it on paper. That's not actually watching the race. So things happen in the races. They're very unpredictable, and it very well could have been something that caused Lewis Hamilton to have a worse result than Max. So with that being said, we're going to start talking about the race for the championship first between these two, before we start diving deeper into the pack and looking at those races, those driver battles that are happening, mid-pack. What do you guys think? Jason, kick it off. What are you thinking how's it looking this weekend?
As always, I think it's going to be a pretty tight one, just to put it out there. The Mercedes right now, I believe, is faster in the straights.
Yeah.
Than the Red Bull is faster in the corners. So with Mexico having 3 DRS zones, it should be interesting. But definitely, I think Red Bull will come out on top this weekend. But it's going to be a nail biter, I think.
I think you're being a little fanboy, though. I think that might be a little unbiased, or a little biased, not unbiased. Omar, how do you see this going down?
Honestly, right now, everything is just so, like Jason's saying, I have a feeling it's going to be a very nail-biting race. Obviously, the competition between Mercedes-AMG and then Red Bull is very, very fierce, to say the least. But I don't know. Something gives me the feeling what are the odds that either Max or Lewis make contact with one another and both end up just disqualifying out of the race? Didn't that happen, just a few GPs ago?
That happened at Monza, yeah.
It happened at Monza. That's what it was, right? Right at the first chicane, or the first turn 1 or turn 2.
Yeah, at turn 2 they made contact, but they were neck and neck in turn 1.
Right.
Right. I could very well see that happening. Me and Jason had discussed about this earlier this week, that with how the track layout is set up, there very well could be some contact between the two on the first lap.
Yeah.
Christian, what do you think, man?
Absolutely. There's
Oh, my bad. Wait. Carry on, Omar. What were you saying?
Oh, no, I was just going to mention real fast that the second half of the racetrack itself, there's quite a bit of technical sections on it. Yeah. So, I feel like there's a lot of it sets up like an environment for contact to be made.
That's very true, especially because we know that Red Bull car has the advantage to the turns this year.
Yep, exactly.
Christian, what is your thoughts on the race this weekend?
So I'll definitely have to see where they place as far as qualifying. But I feel that if Verstappen get an early lead, I feel like he'll be able to take that.
He'll be able to take the dub. You know, it's
yeah. That's what was going on early in the season. You know, he would take the lead, and then Hamilton wouldn't catch up. So I feel like as long as Verstappen gets his groove, and then they don't do any accidents like we've seen in the past, I think Verstappen will go ahead and take this.
Yeah, and when we look at the Constructors Championship, to caveat off of what you're saying and Max having those wins, the Constructors Championship, Red Bull has 9 wins. Mercedes-Benz has 6. There's definitely been quite a few. I think Valtteri Bottas has 3 wins this season. I could be wrong. He could maybe have 2. But, oh no, here we go. I have it right here. Valtteri Bottas only has 1 win. Lewis Hamilton has 5, which I was actually pretty surprised.
Was that at the Turkish Grand Prix? Did he win? Or was it?
Shoot, I don't even know what races he's won. Let's see.
Bottas?
Yeah, it was the Turkish. That's the one he won.
Yeah, that's right. He did win the Turkish Grand Prix.
Max Verstappen has 8 wins. 8 of the 9 wins that Red Bull has. So basically, they're both pretty on par with, giving their teammate 1 win but having the rest. But I mean, Red Bull still has 9 dubs. And we look at the Constructors Championship real quick. Mercedes-Benz has a pretty comfortable lead right now. They're up about 23 points. So, Red Bull could very well make that ground up within 1 race if Sergio Perez and Verstappen have a good race for sure.
Right.
But to give you guys my thoughts and opinions on what I think is going to happen on this race between the two, what you said, Omar, is exactly what I had been talking to Jason about earlier. I think the Mercedes-Benz will have a faster lap. I think Lewis Hamilton will get the pole position. Based off the fact that the AMG is so much faster in a straight line. But
correct.
Me and Jason were looking at the track, and there's quite a few technical spots, like you said. Turn 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you have the S's after that. There's some
exactly
long straights, but with that Red Bull being a better car through the turns, it definitely will be exciting to see how Max reacts and if he's patient and makes the right move at the right time, or is he going to be young and dumb Max and just try and send it in there just because the ego gets the best of him. I have no idea.
And I mean, I don't mean to discredit Max or anything, but I think historically we've seen that he can tend to overshoot just a little bit. In terms of just his driving style, he's a very, I would say, aggressive driver. He's extremely talented, very fast, but he's definitely not afraid to just absolutely send it. And if it means disqualifying as a result of that,
you don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's jump into our
the other thing, real quick too. I wanted to mention that in the technical sections of this track for the Mexican GP, the DRS zones, that's where the DRS zones are. So I feel like that's another potential.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the S's? Are you talking about where the S's are at?
Correct. Yeah. It says DRS detection zone 1.
Okay.
DRS detection zone 2.
And if that's the case, if we look back at Austin, Lewis Hamilton couldn't catch Max Verstappen on those last couple laps because he kept catching dirty air. If it's a DRS zone when there's curves involved, I don't see him catching him. Not there at least.
Right.
But that could be the difference to hold him back for every lap. Damn.
Exactly. And I think just judging based off what we said, I think the odds are in Max's favor at this race.
Yeah, this is really weird. DRS.
Do you see that? Like, do you see the same screenshot that I'm looking at, where it highlights the DRS zones?
Yeah. At turn 9, 10, 11, and then at turn
Correct.
12, 13, 14, 15. I don't know if that. I mean, it's straight from the F1 website. That's really weird. I did not expect that to be your DRS zone. I feel like that's a serious disadvantage for Mercedes-Benz, Mercedes-AMG.
Yeah, same. That's why I brought it up, because I honestly was a little confused by seeing that. But yeah.
Dude, I've never seen that shit ever. Jason, are you looking at this?
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's a bit tricky, I guess, or it's very advantageous for
but you could also look at it this way. Red Bull is not faster than the AMG in a straight line, which means that AMG is going to get down these straights faster and not have to worry about Red Bull closing a gap on them. So it could play a factor. It could play a beneficial to AMG as well. If they can get out front, pull a lead on the straights and maintain that lead through the curves, through the twisty sections. Yeah, we'll never know. I guess we'll find out this weekend. But Jason, back to you. Give me your top three. Give me your top three finishers right now for this race.
Top three for the Mexico GP, I would say.
You know what? Hey,
P1 Max.
Jason, let's do top five. I think that's
top five.
Yeah, more interesting.
Okay, definitely. Okay, I would say top five. Then P1 Verstappen, P2 Lewis, P3 Perez, P4. I'm gonna say Bottas, and P5 Norris.
You're fucking cookie cutter ass. That is the most generic finish I've ever heard of, bro. Like, if I was to just guess on some shit, that would be exactly what I would do off point standings.
But the point standings don't lie, all those drivers are very consistent, especially, McLaren being best of the rest.
That's true.
Obviously Mercedes and Red Bull being, the top four finishers typically.
Okay, all right. I'll accept that. But okay, if you had to choose one dark horse, who do you got, and where are they finishing?
One dark horse, I would say either Charles or even I want to say Pierre Gasly.
Pierre Gasly. I mean, he's had a great year. That team.
He's had a great year. Ever since
fire.
Yeah, definitely Gasly. He'd be a surprise.
Yeah, that would be pretty delightful to see, actually, if he finished top five. Omar, what do you think? Your top five, and then a dark horse after that you don't have in the top five.
Honestly, I don't even have the top five in my head right now, but I want to say P1 Verstappen, P2 Hamilton, P3. I'm going to say Norris, P3.
Okay.
He's my underdog that I root for every race. But P4 and P5, I don't even know, man.
That's
I'll say
behind it.
Yeah. Bottas P4 and Leclerc P5.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, I'm all fucked up.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. But my dark horse, I don't know. I'll say Gasly. Gasly or like Ricardo. Danny Rick.
Damn. Any reason why?
No. I'm just kind of guessing, to be quite frank.
Okay. All right.
I wish I had more like statistical backing to, back or to justify, but I don't at the moment.
Well, I'll tell you right now, you and I have the same dark horse. I think that
Danny Ricciardo
could finish on podium. And my theory behind this is he's got a pole position that he got back in 2000. I think it was 18 or 17. So he's had success at this track. And I feel like he's finding the groove at McLaren, and McLaren's only getting better through the season as well. That's why I have him as my dark horse. I have my race results going: Lewis Hamilton, Verstappen after that, and then we got Sergio Perez third. I think he's going to show up and show out for his home crowd in Mexico, and that'll be dope to see. I'm not really a Red Bull fan, but I mean, that is dope to see it when these drivers, actually perform at their home tracks, their home GPs. Yeah. That's dope. Fourth place, I got Charles Leclerc, and then fifth, I got Valtteri Bottas. And yeah, like I said, my dark horse being Daniel Ricciardo, possibly finishing third somehow if something happens. If Lewis and Max crash out, that it helps tremendously.
That's how he won at Monza, didn't he?
Yep.
He took P1.
Yeah,
because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Too. So if those dudes crash out, make contact, I mean, you never know. Sergio Perez might try and send it too. He's at his home GP. He might have a little chip on his shoulder, trying to prove that he's one of the top dogs as well, and cause some contact with somebody as well. So
absolutely.
That's how I see it going down. Christian, what do you think?
I got Verstappen P1, Hamilton P2, and I got Perez P3 just because he's at home.
Okay.
And then I got Bottas at P4, and I'm going to give you Ricardo at P5.
Damn. Okay. Who's your dark horse?
Yeah. I'm going to say Gasly as my dark horse.
Pierre
Gasly. Some good races in the past. Definitely pull through.
Okay. Respectable. I like that two people said Pierre Gasly. I didn't think that we would hear that, but that's dope to see. So let's transition now to talking about how we see the rest of the championship playing out, because in the bigger picture of things, this is round 18 out of 22. This is the longest F1 season in their history. These guys are going to be surpassing well over 300 points, which is insane. And to be honest, I really think they're just doing this because the season's so close. I think they're literally just adding fucking races to just make money off this shit. I think it's a money grab, to be honest with you. But
definitely. But F1 in general has been rising in popularity like a shit ton in the past few years.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people are saying it's the Netflix effect, because of Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
Sort of blowing up, becoming one of. Yeah, exactly. I think the attendance for the American GP at COTA this year was something like 50% higher than 2019's US GP, I believe.
Yeah.
Like something, I think they had like over 40,000 people in attendance, which is just phenomenal.
400,000, bro.
400,000?
400,000 people all weekend.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Disregard what I just said.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
That is for a race. I mean, I never thought, racing caught on that heavy in the United States.
Oh, yeah, of course. I didn't think that would be the case either. Racing has never been very big here. You think about the biggest racing league we have here is NASCAR. And that's a pretty small niche of people right there. And then you break that even down even further, then you have IMSA, and that's even tinier than that, So for F1 to come to the U.S. and increase popularity or race attendance by 50% to 400,000 people, that's just insane.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to see. And next year we're having 2 U.S. GPs. I thought they were just going to replace COTA, but they're adding another one here. So.
No, they're adding one. Yeah, we can't even get tickets to it because they're all freaking sold out right now.
But it's rumored to be Vegas is on the table for discussion. So maybe we're gonna have 3 American GPs in the future.
Wow,
which would be awesome!
Yeah,
that'd be really cool.
Sick. Hopefully it's not Vegas in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
That would be miserable. So yeah, Jason, what do you think? How's this season going to play out then? What we got 4 rounds left after this, right? So we have 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton is winning.
What?
What? Who? I joined late. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I thought that was Jason. I thought that was Jason making that claim. I was about to say,
I was like, what the hell?
Oh, no. Obviously, as the season has been, it's been super close every race, which I think, continuing on. But it also, it could take just one DNF, then one outside the podium finish to really turn the tides and solidify the results, as we've seen the previous years where, I think even in 2019, Lewis was the champion at Coda, like that early on in the season. And it's been a while since F1 has had a season like this, so it'll be definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting to see how it's going to play out. But yeah, if there's even another collision, some DNFs, then yeah.
Okay, then give me your season results. Don't give me that beat around the bush type shit. I want to know who's winning it.
I'm going Verstappen's going to win it overall.
Do you think it'll be close? How many points?
I think it's going to come down. It's going to come down to. I don't think it's going to come down to Abu Dhabi, the last round. I think it might be decided the second to last or third to last round.
So you think he closes it out early?
I think someone's going to DNF. Yeah, someone's going to DNF. I'm predicting that.
Okay. All right. That'll be interesting to see. I mean, that would suck for the fans, but that would be pretty interesting to see a season between these two that is the longest in F1 history be cut short, basically, because of a DNF. Omar, what do you think?
Or might I add on, maybe not a DNF, but maybe someone has to take a new power unit, then they have to start at the back of the grid, then they won't be able to, make it up during the whole race.
Yeah, I get that. The odds of one of these drivers in the Red Bull or the AMG car not making up grounds and finishing top 5 at least is pretty slim. But I mean, if Mercedes-Benz is already down 12 points, has to start at the back of the grid, and you get Max Verstappen on pole, he could very well gain another 12 points in a week, and then there you go. That's a full fucking race. It might as well have been a DNF,
Yeah, well, engine swaps has both has had too. I think it's been like 8. So who knows? I think we can expect one from Hamilton.
Yeah, he didn't take a power unit or a grid penalty for replacing a power unit or a hybrid unit or anything. Lewis Hamilton? No?
I think he did recently, but
he did too, man. I just cannot think of the race it was. I know for sure Max Verstappen did.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm thinking of Valtteri Bottas that had to start in the back, though.
Bottas did
for
Monza.
Definitely Bottas. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He did for Monza when Lewis and Hamilton crashed, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He came all the way from the back of the pack to finish third. That was quite a fucking drive. Okay, so you got Verstappen winning, possibly closing out by the third, if not the second race of this, second to last race of the season. All right. Omar, what are you thinking?
I think personally Lewis is going to win the Drivers' Championship, and I think Mercedes is also going to win the Constructors' Championship. And my reasoning for that, I'm not the most textbook knowledgeable person when it comes to F1, but I purely believe so based off of the upcoming racetracks at the upcoming GPs. So we have Interlagos after Mexico, so in Brazil. And then after that, it's all going to the Arab Emirates or Saudi Arabia, which I'm looking at the overall map layout of those tracks. And if you look at, like, for example, the Jeddah Street Circuit for Saudi Arabia, which I believe is a new track, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is.
We're looking at a lot of straights and a lot of like open sweepers, not a ton of technical sections, a lot of I don't know, the layout of these tracks just seems to favor the higher top speed and higher straight line speed performance of the AMG F1 car. Oh, yeah. And I think, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Hamilton as well to perform, given the fact that he's currently behind Verstappen. And I don't know. I don't think Hamilton is a driver that's just going to let up so easily. I think he's extremely skilled. He has an amazing car, an amazing team, and I think he's going to win it.
I'm not even going to give you guys what I think, because Omar basically took everything that I was going to say and put it out there for me already. I had done my homework. I looked at the tracks. I saw the same things you saw, the same advantages for AMG cars. And then the fact that Lewis, this is a 7-time champion. He's going for his 8th title. That would be the most of all time. You could very well argue that somebody would just be kind of over winning championships, or it would just be something regular to them. But when you're trying to set yourself apart from everyone else in F1 history, and it probably won't be done again in the next fucking century, to be honest with you, I think he's hungry as hell for this one. I feel like he's still got that competitive edge over Max Verstappen.
I don't mean to interject, but real fast, I think, this season, definitely, I think Lewis, personally, I think he's going to take it. But next season, I think it's going to be a completely different ball game with George Russell joining the pack on Mercedes. I just think George Russell has so much young talent, and he's just such an underrated driver. He's just been held back so heavily by, driving that shitty Williams car. Yeah. So to see him in a world-class top-tier race car with a top-tier race team, and just really unleash him as a driver, I think him and Verstappen are going to put a ton of pressure on Hamilton next season.
Yeah, that's
well, I'm sure Mercedes.
What were you saying? You cut out.
Yeah, I'm sure they want him to be the feature instead of Hamilton after this year. So we'll see where it goes too.
Yeah,
phase him out.
I think Russell is like I think he's a long-term vision for Mercedes.
Yeah, I very well
so predictions aside, who would you guys like to win? Because personally, Lewis Hamilton getting an 8th, like we said, would be absolutely huge. Passing someone like the greatest of all time, Michael Schumacher, would be insane. But also to have Max Verstappen so young, to put a win streak to Lewis Hamilton, that would also be insane. Like I kind of want to see either of them win. But then again, I do have a bet with Augie too that Lewis Hamilton's going to win. He has money on Verstappen.
I kind of want to see Lewis Hamilton own the record. He's got the most wins,
I do too.
The most pole positions, and then to have the most titles. I mean, that's the Triple Crown right there. That's definitely putting him at the top of the discussion of greatest of all time. And I know people like to argue, the era of cars are different, or Mercedes had a more dominant car, but you can look back at all the great drivers. None of those great drivers were driving shitty cars. Those drivers were all, in either a Mclaren that was at the cutting edge of its time, or a Ferrari that was a cutting edge of its time. So these guys that want to bring up the cars, that's the argument I have for them. And yeah, I think I'd like to see Lewis Hamilton complete this what I would call the Triple Crown.
I agree. And at the end of the day, the numbers do not lie.
No, they don't. But, people like to argue and say that he had basically a beast of a car, which he did. He did have a great car, but, he's no slouch of a driver. You cannot deny the fact that, it takes a insane amount of talent to win 8 championships, 100 poles. How many race wins? I don't even know. Isn't he in the 70s or something?
Did he just reach 100?
No, he just reached 100.
Yeah, no, it's 100, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was poles. How many poles does he have now?
101.
I mean, this guy's got 100 fucking poles and 100 wins. That's just ridiculous,
Yeah, that ratio is insane now that you think about it.
Yeah, but that's me. I know Jason and Christian got, some other
Shark
thoughts.
boy.
Christian, what do you got?
as far as how the season's gonna go, or who I want to win?
Yeah, give me how your season plays out, and then give me who you want to win. But first, give me how you see the season playing out before you give me your biased ass opinion.
I got one or two ways. So I feel if Verstappen takes this Grand Prix, I think he'll win it all. But I feel like if Hamilton wins it and Verstappen gets second, I think we'll have a battle till the end, to be honest. And that'll be exciting because if it comes down to the last race, oof, it's gonna be amazing. And those two go at it. So we'll have to see. We even have, like you guys said before, we can have a DNF for both of them, and then it's going to keep going till we'll see who wins in the last few races. And personally, I want Verstappen to win, man. That dude's got the gut to win. Hamilton's he's something else sometimes. I know he's the greatest, but come on, man. Some of the races he's had, it's like he's lost on his own. Like with like the 2 races ago where he didn't want to exit the pit. And then he got mad because his team told him to go and he went out. So it's like some of them he shot himself. So we'll see what happens. Maybe the pressure's on him.
Yeah. No, I agree with you talking about the pressure being on. It does seem that like Mercedes as a team with the drivers as well has been very non-Mercedes like this year than before. Years in the past, they seem very precision like, everything is very well calculated. Every decision they make is very well thought out and you understand. But this year, it just seems like there's a lot more either a driver error or a team error that's made, team calls that are made that end up costing them big time, costing them races. Jason, what do you got for who you want to win?
Or didn't I already do this? Or
you predicted who was going to win.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same though, because Jason's talking biased,
Yeah, true.
So no answer.
So how about we go into the topic of unless you have a set plan, but how George Russell is going to perform on Mercedes.
We'll get there with the future teams, but then want to talk about real quick about how we see the middle of the pack drivers finishing this season before we talk about next season. So I'll go over the stats with you guys real quick. We got, Max Verstappen at the top. Lewis Hamilton very close behind him. Valtteri Bottas is about 90 points back from second place, but has a 35-point lead over Sergio Perez, which I think he's going to hold on for the rest of the year, but I'll let you guys discuss that. And then we have a very close 4th, 5th, and 6th place battle. Sergio Perez beating Lando Norris by 1 point right now for 4th place. And then we have Charles Leclerc, who's lurking in the back, who is gaining momentum for sure with the Ferrari car. He's got 128 to Lando's 149, so down about 20 points. And then Carlos Sainz is knocking on Leclerc's door right now. He is down 6 points, or 5.5 points. Sorry, these fucking half-point seasons now. How do you guys see the rest of the season playing out for let's say fourth through 6th, basically, with Perez up by 1 point and Leclerc down by 22 points from 4th place? Jason?
Yeah, sure. I think, the McLaren and Ferrari battle will be just as exciting as the Mercedes Red Bull battle, because 3rd place to 4th place finishing overall is such a huge difference when it comes to receiving funding for the next year. And for the rest of the midfield, Alpine, they're just so hit or miss. Like at Coda, they both, Alonso and Ocon both DNF'd.
Yep.
Just like what's going on. Then AlphaTauri, some good drivers. Yuki Tsunoda, he hasn't been the most consistent as I wanted him to be, but granted, he's still a rookie. And besides that, Haas lost cause. With the news of Porsche.
Yeah.
With the news of Porsche potentially entering F1 next year, I'd be more than happy to see Haas leave and Porsche take their place.
Yeah, that would be sick. But I think just to cover on that real quick, right now Porsche is trying to look into developing motors right now. I don't necessarily know if they're going to try to develop a team, but what I'm hearing is if Red Bull splits basically the cost of engine development with them, that would basically create enough funding or open enough funding for them to actually enter a car into F1, which would be pretty badass to see. But I mean, even if they're doing engine development for Red Bull or any other team, that would be pretty dope as well. Just to know that Porsche is in F1 and, continuing that amazing race heritage, as well as doing Le Mans WEC. That would be pretty badass to see Porsche in both WEC and F1. That's like the type of shit that you want from your favorite manufacturer. You want to see them in all the top race leagues. That's just how I see it. But okay, so back to what you were saying. My bad.
So yeah, McLaren, Ferrari, that's going to be an amazing battle. Then even with Alpine and AlphaTauri, they have a pretty close gap. I think it's just 10 points from each other.
Yep.
Then obviously, I think later on next year, the Aston Martin Mercedes team led by Lance Stroll's father, he set out a pretty big mission to transform Aston Martin, formally force India to become, a new great team, which I think they're personally on the right trajectory to doing so.
Yeah, hell yeah. I got to agree with you. Real quick, I'm looking at the points right now, and I'm really surprised that Sebastian Vettel only has 36. I feel like he's been driving his ass off this year. Should have a lot more points than that. But Omar, what do you think? How's the middle of the pack playing
thinking
out?
For fourth, fifth, and sixth in terms of drivers. I'm thinking my personal prediction is going to be Norris taking fourth for the championship. Perez is going to be fifth, and I think Leclerc will stay right in at sixth place. That's just my prediction. I don't have a ton of data or any other real hard reasoning to back it. But I personally just believe in Lando as a driver, and I think he's extremely talented, and I think he's this season especially, he's shown so much skill, and I think in the remainder of these races, he's likely to podium at some point, or if not podium, come out on top over Perez.
Nah, I agree with you. But Omar be like, it's indescribable. I can't describe it, right, Jason?
Shout out StockX Garage. Shout out London.
Oh shit!
Shout out
you guys
Sonoma.
are doing me dirty.
Weekend at Sonoma. Lucas, what do you think? How's that middle of the pack finishing? And actually, let's back up for you a little bit because you missed out on quite a bit. Who do you think? How do you think the Mexico GP plays out for us after you get done with that? How do you feel the season plays out for top drivers through the middle of the pack, like we're discussing about now?
Oh man, it's usually hard to say, especially not until practice and qualifying. That's when I like to make my judgment calls. So we'll wait and see there how their pace is, are they running into any problems, how's their chemistry, stuff like that. Of course, I want my boy Lewis Hamilton to come out on top, but I want a good race as well between Verstappen and Hamilton. That being said, as far as the middle pack, I think we're not going to see much movement there, especially everyone in the mid pack is super consistent and they're very good drivers. I still think I see Sergio Perez up there for getting Red Bull to P2 for the constructors. Lando Norris as well has showcased what he can do in that McLaren. He's a fantastic driver and is aggressive where it needs to be and just shows up when he needs to. However, I do think Carlos Sainz is going to take P6 just because Carlos Sainz has had some nice podiums and has been very consistent throughout the season as well. Pretty much like all the mid-pack drivers, it's going to come down to consistency and where they can deliver, you know?
Yeah, so you basically have Charles Leclerc dropping out of that middle of the pack and Carlos Sainz taking his place in fifth.
I
sixth
think
place?
so.
I mean, it very well could
think so,
happen.
yeah.
If you look at some of the best results of the season, it's Carlos Sainz has been finishing up there in the middle of the pack, and then sometimes you get Leclerc that's like fucking 13th place or some random shit. It's like, yo, what the hell is going on with this fool? So yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Christian, what do you got? Middle of the pack results. Who you want to see? Pull out another couple positions up.
So I definitely see Perez staying fourth, but I'm gonna give you Leclerc fifth over Norris at sixth.
Ooh.
And then the rest of the pack, I think they'll pretty much stay the same unless we have any of the surprises. We got some of them taking podium by a surprise. But other than that, that's pretty much how I see it now going forward.
Okay. All right. I like that. And then let's talk about the Constructors Championship real quick. Probably going to be the last topic since we're already 40 minutes in, but Mercedes and Mercedes and Red Bull. Let's just go through real quick. I just need a single answer, just because we're running low on time here. But let's start off with we'll go Jason, Omar, Lucas, and then Christian. Okay. So Constructors Championship, Mercedes-Benz and Red Bull. The gap is 20 points. One race could easily make up that gap. One race could actually put Red Bull ahead of Mercedes-Benz. Who do you guys think is finishing first place in the Constructors Championship? Jason, go for it.
First place, I'm going to say still Mercedes, even if Max wins, because of Sergio. I feel like he might. I'm just going to be bold, maybe fall off the peak after this GP, and Botox with his consistency might pull off the constructors for them.
He pulls in Austin, huh? He peaks early.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Austin, homie. Okay.
Oh man.
Hello,
Austin.
Omar, who you got?
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement with what Jason said. I personally believe that Mercedes is going to take the Constructors Championship, mainly just, again, due to the advantage that the Mercedes cars have in the upcoming races and the upcoming GPs, and also with the consistency of Bottas as opposed to Perez.
All right. Good answer. Lucas?
I think that Hamilton and Bottas are more consistent than Perez and Verstappen. With that is a result of Mercedes winning, Red Bull P2, and I think McLaren's going to take P3.
All right, Christian?
Yep, definitely agreeing with Lucas on this one. I feel like Mercedes have been more consistent up there to get those points for them to get that championship.
Okay. All right, and then here we go. Here's the even closer battle. We got two more battles to talk about, actually. But what the one I'm really interested in is McLaren versus Ferrari. McLaren has 254 points. Ferrari has 250.5. So, 4.5 point difference right there. This is still up in the air. Jason, who do you got?
What was the question? Sorry, come back up.
McLaren or Ferrari finishing
McLaren,
third.
baby.
Okay, all right.
McLaren.
Any reason?
I just think Lando, an up and coming driver, he's going to be able to pull it off out of all the drivers compared to Charles. I believe he has, or just the same amount of experience in that, in a McLaren or Ferrari car to, be able to pull it off. Like we saw in Sochi, he almost won the whole GP, but it came down to a poor strategy call that costed him it.
Okay, all right. Omar, who you got? McLaren or Ferrari?
I'm going to say McLaren as well. I do have a personal bias towards McLaren. They're my favorite team in F1, but I think just going back to the energy of the drivers of both Danny Rick and Lando Norris, just having so much young talent again, I just think they're going to come out on top over Ferrari. And I think Ferrari, they've definitely had a better season as compared to last year, but yeah, I think Ferrari is still on some, like, I don't want to say shaky grounds, but they're still trying to, I don't know, get some like cohesiveness within their team and strategy and everything. So yeah.
Okay. Lucas, what you got?
Yep, I'm going to be with the guys on this one. McLaren over Ferrari. However, I am going against Omar as far as personal decision, and I'm going based off of stats alone. McLaren simply has more wins and podiums.
Okay, I like that. Christian, what do you think?
Yep. Like, we're going to go 4-4 on this one. I'm going to go McLaren. I feel with that momentum they got, especially with that the last race, 2 races ago, where they got 1 and 2. I think that momentum they got going from is going to get the third place for sure.
Damn. Okay. All right. We got a clean sweep across the board, except for the fact that I got Ferrari, and here's why. I don't think Danny Rick is going to be consistent enough. And then not only that, I mean, a lot of these races, Landon Norris gets stuck behind Danny Rick and, questions, his team if, hey, should I be passing Daniel Ricciardo right now? I think I'm quicker. And, I don't think there's any type of chemistry issue there, but I just think the fact that he gets caught up behind Daniel Ricciardo, whether it be because of a shitty start or a shitty qualifying time, I think that costs them dearly. And with the momentum I see Ferrari building, I could very well see this being decided at Yas Marina, last race of the season, and Ferrari clinching that third place in the constructors title. And finally, Alpine 104, AlphaTauri 94. So a 10-point gap right there. Make this one pretty quick here because I got one more question at the end. I wanted to answer Lucas's question. What do you got, Jason? Alpine or AlphaTauri? What the fuck? How do you even say that? AlphaTauri?
AlphaTauri.
Dude, I thought it was AlphaTauro. Like a fucking bull.
AlphaTauro.
Fuck.
I'm gonna go AlphaTauri for sure. Honda powered. Alpine, like I said before, at Coda, both cars, Alonso and Ocon, DNF just because of I think just some random mechanical issues. I mean, as we know, Renault itself has plagued itself, shot itself in the foot with their own technology. That's why Red Bull even left them. I just don't think they have the consistency or reliability to beat a Honda Red Bull powered car.
All right, Omar.
I'm gonna say personally that Alpine is gonna come out on top over AlphaTauri, and my sole reasoning behind that is because I think Yuki Tsunoda is a pretty shitty driver at the moment, and I mean that with the most respect towards him. But this is his first season in F1, and there's a lot of excitement surrounding him, but he's a rookie at the end of the day, and I think he just needs more experience behind the wheel of the F1 car. And I feel like he's either crashed the car too many times or he just can't do anything in terms of just putting up some decent results. So that's why I say Alpine.
He did have a rough beginning to the year. When I was watching him, I was like, who the fuck is this guy wrecking everything,
I watched some interview too where he literally admitted, he's like, nobody should be praising me right now. He's like, I literally cannot drive the car. He's like, I'm either crashing it or I'm like somehow DNFing or something along those lines. So I just thought that was really funny.
Hey, at least he's being honest,
That's true.
What'd you say, Jason?
At least he's being honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Lucas, what do you got? Alpine or AlphaTauri?
I'm going to say Alpine just because you have a world championship winner with race experience and tactics, Alonso on the team. I think he's going to pull through. And I was reading some comments about Yuki Tsunoda. They call him Yuki Spinoda. That's disrespectful.
Damn.
Jesus, man.
Christian, who you got?
Man, Lucas took the words right out of my mouth. I'm going Alpine. Got that.
Okay.
Man.
I'm also going to go Alpine as well. I have respect for them for the fact that they're doing F1 and they're doing WEC. We see them in Le Mans getting their ass beat by Toyota, but hey, it's all good. The fact that they're doing both is great for racing in general, and keeping the sport alive for sure, especially at the highest levels. That's pretty awesome to see. So, with respect to Alpine, I got them finishing fifth overall in the Constructors Championship. But last question for the night. Lucas mentioned it before. He wanted to talk a little bit about George Russell. I want to hear you guys' thoughts as well. Where do you think he finishes in the championship, and how many races? Oh, what? Not how many. Let's see. Let's do over or under 4 races. Does he win over or under 4 races? Give me what you got, Jason.
Over under for the last 4 races?
No, next year on Mercedes-Benz. Does he win 4 or not?
Oof. I want to say yes.
Okay. And where do you think he finishes in the championship?
We're talking about Hamilton, right?
No, George Russell.
Oh, George.
I said that right.
I think he's gonna.
I did.
Yeah, I think he's gonna do well, but I think maybe it's gonna take him, mid-season, even to the late parts of next season to really get adjusted. Because I feel like if you're driving a Williams, then you hop into a Mercedes, it's going to be quite a shell shock. You're driving a Prius, now you're stepping into like a GT3 RS.
Oh, fucking It's fucked up. Omar, what do you got? Over or under 4 wins for George Russell?
For next season?
Yep.
I'm going to say over 4 wins. Personally, I believe that George Russell is extremely talented. And like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I think it's mainly his team and the car that he's in. I think he's just an incredibly talented driver that is literally just being held back by the vehicle that he's driving. And we've seen what he's capable of. I mean, come on, Williams is one of the, just to podium, like I think it was the Belgian Grand Prix, he came in P2. And even in the Hungarian Grand Prix, I'm looking as well, he came in 8th place. And, that might not sound on paper all that special, but when you're talking about a driver from Williams that is, putting in this kind of work, and just the energy and just the ambition and drive that Russell has, I think Mercedes is the perfect seat for him, and I think he's going to have a really bright future ahead of himself with Mercedes, and I think that's going to start next season. Damn,
shit! He comes in. You think he takes over the number 1 driver spot, or what? Because that's how you're talking.
No. I don't think it's going to be quite like that. But I think as soon as he becomes more adjusted and accustomed to the AMG F1 team, he's going to start outshining Lewis, and I think he's going to be some serious competition for Max. Yeah. And again, like I said, I think Russell is a long-term vision for Mercedes. I think they see his potential, and I think as long as Russell continues to come out with the same type of energy and vigor, he's going to prove to everybody he's an amazing driver.
I agree with you, bro. I agree with that. Lucas, what do you got?
Oh yeah.
I think George is going to be over 4 wins, and as far as the championship next year, he is going to be top of the midfield, so P4, P5, and here's why. He hopped into the Mercedes last year at the Shakir Grand Prix with no experience with that car, and he decimated. He would have won.
Wait, did you say
Shakira Grand Prix, exactly. No, I said Shakira. Did I? Oh, no.
No, you didn't.
Whatever.
I'm fucking with you.
But he hopped in that car, and we all know he would have won that Grand Prix. Mm-hmm. He was able to hop into a faster car and dominate the top of the pack. That's like us, minus Gabe, hopping into our M3s and hopping into like a GT3 Cup car and destroying it and doing even better. There's a learning curve. The car is faster, but he still managed to do all of that in one race weekend and still come out of top.
Exactly.
There's no way.
And what was the reason why he? What was the reason for him not placing? Did he DNF or something? Or
it was a quote unquote puncture, then a quote unquote mismatched tire set during a pit stop. They got mixed up with like Botas's tires or different compounds, some other wheels and stuff. Yeah. But who knows? Some political shit, some dirty shit.
That FIA
Exactly.
money in the bank type shit. Christian, what do you think?
Shit.
No, for real. Christian, what do you think?
Honestly, finish number 4 next year. I think the cars are just so different. Even though he's experienced and all that, you guys were talking about earlier, I just don't see him grasping it right away, So I haven't finished him under 4 next year. I think once he'll get that experience and once he drives it for a while, then maybe the coming years after that. But I think next year he'll have to get used to that new car, and we'll see what happens going forward.
Damn, my boy Christian throwing out a random knowledge fact about them bringing out a new car next year that's going to definitely change these driver styles.
I
Christian,
forgot about that as well.
After you bringing up that point, I have to agree with you. That's probably the most solid fact or piece of evidence that we have that could possibly sway somebody from not thinking that he will not get or that we will get over 4 wins. I don't see it happening now that you bring it up. There is definitely some adjustment period for all drivers, but to swap out of a different seat and go to a different car, that's a different type of adjustment. That's not just, we're getting a new car. You're hopping in a completely different machine now. And not only that, it's got adjustments to it from the previous years before that you're not used to. So, I
think the cars for the 2022 season are actually slower than the current season, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just because of the way that they're set up aerodynamically, they're just supposed to produce less turbulence from the rear, I guess, to kind of level out the playing field for all the drivers.
Yep. Me and Jason were talking about this yesterday. Less dirty air to make racing better, which we were thinking, does that mean that lap times overall will be slower or will they be faster because they're not able to produce the downforce that they were able to before that was creating that turbulence? These drivers are very well skilled, and every single year it seems like they're just crushing the lap records. But I don't know with these new cars. I would actually personally. What was that?
I have to do some more research on the car, but I think perhaps the lap times will be slower, not only because the drivers are adjusting to a completely new car, but because they're designed to be a bit slower. But I think, is it the split? Is that the term? The split between drivers?
The gap
in terms of their lap times is exactly, it's going to be reduced significantly. And I think because of that, we're going to see, much more fierce competition, more exciting competition, which I think is the goal at the end of the day.
Oh yeah. Yep. Can't agree anymore.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking for an hour now, so we're well past our normal time limit. But it was a great discussion overall. We talked about a lot of different shit, a lot of good stuff, a lot of good info was thrown out by everyone here. So I appreciate you guys all joining. But thanks for those who listened. And the next podcast I got will be dropping actually tomorrow as well. So back-to-back podcasts, Thursday and Friday. And we got a special guest, actually a few special guests. We have the board members from Bimmer Challenge. They're going to be talking with us. That's Ellie, Andrew, and John. And we're going to be talking about how the season's been playing out. We're going to go over the standings so far. It's extremely close in a few different classes. And also, Ellie's been talking about and hinting at some major changes next year for Bimmer Challenge regarding how competition will be, what the rewards will be, which is pretty exciting, and what tracks we should be looking forward to that are going to be added. So, if you guys like this podcast, please give it a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Whether you're on Spotify or not, go ahead and hit that bell icon and always stay up to date and alerted when we upload new podcasts. But as far as I'm concerned, we're done here. Omar, any closing words?
I don't really have to say much else aside from thanks to all the viewers for listening in, and appreciate you guys tuning into the podcast, supporting us. So looking forward to the next one as always.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys all for listening. I know the audience actually has grown quite a bit since we started doing this, last week or 2 weeks ago. So these consistent uploads are actually getting quite a few views on YouTube and Spotify, which is awesome to see.
Heck yeah.
All right, well, that's it, guys. Appreciate it. Take it easy.